What's going on, everyone? We are here for week 6 of the Fanatec GT3 Sprint Challenge Series track guides. This week we're at Spa, which is pretty cool because obviously this weekend we're running in the Spa 24-hour for 2023. So it's pretty awesome to have that show up right before the race and be able to sort of use this as practice leading into that big event if you guys are running that. So we've also done the Ferrari here last week, so if you want to check that video out, that'll be just up here. But if not, appreciate everybody that's been part of the channel lately, subscribing, liking, sharing the videos. It's been awesome. So we're pretty excited for this one. Spa's a track that we enjoy, and we've had not great results here over the past, but I feel like we're starting to get a head around it this year, so looking forward to seeing what happens going forward. Hope you guys' racing has been going well this season. We're now at the halfway point of the championship for the season 3 of iRacing, so let's big push now for the last 6 weeks and see what we can come away with for you guys. And without further ado, let's kick off into week 6 at Spa in the Mercedes AMG. Alright guys, so now we're going to break down the lap. So as you're coming down into turn 1, you want to be as close to the left hand side as possible. I brake just after the 100 meter board. There's I'll go back a little tiny bit. You'll see it in a second. There's like a little orange sort of netting in the fence. So it's around that sort of 75, 70 meter mark. That's where I'm braking. 4th gear. Make sure the car's nice and straight, big brake pressure, back to 1st. So I'm using 1st here to get a really good drive out of turn 1 and down the hill. Obviously, you want to make sure you're maximising your exit here because you're at full throttle for a fair chunk of time after that. You know, even through Radion and Eau Rouge, or Eau Rouge and Radion, sorry, you'll be surprised at how much throttle you're actually carrying through there. It sometimes is a slight lift if you don't get the line right, but most of the time especially once the tyres are warm, you can be flat through there. So use the little orange marker in the fence. That's where I start to brake around that 75 metre mark. Nice big brake pressure. Back to first gear. Now, turning point wise, I use the start of the tyre wall just on the left here. It's challenging to spot, especially if you're in a pack and you're watching the guy in front and maybe somebody behind having a look, but definitely that's your marker for turning. So you turn in quite early, so turn in now. Get right down into the wall at that sort of like, you'll see how the wall goes like straight, then straight, then straight. You want to get to that third one and sort of clip it there. And then from that point there, the car will sort of roll out, line up with that first Allianz sign to let the car track out, get 2 tyres over the curb like so, to then be able to drive nice and aggressive down through, up the gears and down the hill. Up through the gears we're going, up to 4th, up to 5th just before the total sign. And then what you want to do is set yourself up on the right hand side here. You want to turn in where the flag marshal stand is. So just here where the traffic light is for pit exit. So turn the car at the corner there. Put 2 tyres over the back of the curb like so. And then once you get off the curb and you get to the white line, that's when you start to turn at the corner. And you'll see I'm a little bit wider than the actual rubber is on the track. But the reason for that is I don't want to hit this curb coming up the hill until I'm in line with that sort of the little, I think it's like a flag marshal stand or a viewing box or something like that. So when I'm sort of directly in line with that, that's when I want to hit that curb or clip the curb coming up the hill. Don't use too much of it because there is a tendency to upset the balance of the car with it as well. So you want to get nice and close to it without really running over it. The car's going to come sort of fire off straight. Use 2 tyres right over the back of the curb like so. Let the car track out to the end of here. Now, this is the tricky bit, right? So you have to be careful every time you come through here to watch what's coming out of pit lane because they merge right here. Now, if you're full noise coming over the crest and you see somebody coming, they can't go anywhere. They're not going to slow down for you. So you need to make sure that once you come off that curb that we've just touched on the right-hand side, you start to track yourself back towards the DRS sign if you can see a car coming. If you know there's nothing there, you're not getting any notification of anything there, then stay tight and stay close to the blue cone as you come through here, but just be on your game there because I've seen some huge shunts in the past from people just having pit lane cars come out in front, and especially in like not so much the sprint races, but obviously the 24-hour, yeah, lots of pit stops for every car, lots of things can go wrong there. So as you come down the Camel Straight, I sort of position myself here. I know guys zigzag around trying to break toe and all that stuff, but I find just keep the car nice and straight. It's less carnage, less unpredictability. And then I'm looking for the start of the curb. I'll be 6th gear, back to 3rd. So nice big brake pressure. Back to 3rd gear. I turn the car in at the end of the curb. So as you come in, it's I wouldn't say it's a late turn in, but you've still got like a little bit more, but I turn the car in early. So I turn in at this point right here. Now, once I start to turn the car at the corner in 3rd gear, I missed the start of the apex, and you'll see just here how the curb, and then there's like, it looks like corrugated concrete behind it. So it looks like sand, but it's not sand. It's actually like a curb. So use that. Now, as the car drops off the curb, you diagonal the car straight across. It's usually a lift on the throttle to get the car to rotate back the other way. Same again here. 2 tyres up on that like corrugated bit of concrete. Now, when the car drops off of here, you want to keep the car as close to the left-hand side as possible. I see a lot of guys sliding the car out, trying to carry so much speed out of here, and they just end up costing themselves so much time, because what happens is when they come out of here, then they're trying to dart back to the left to go back to the right. So if you sacrifice a tiny little bit of speed on the exit here, you'll be on the left, and it'll make the next point of the corner so much easier. So as you get to this point here, You close, there's a reflector on the inside fence that's just before the end of the curb on the left. So when I actually line the car up, it's right there. So you'll see it right there. So that's my turning point. So as you can see, I'm probably half a car from the end of the curb. It's just a tiny bit earlier. And then from that point there, I turn the car at the corner. I get 2 tyres over the back of the curb. The car's going to drop off. It's going to run wide. You're going to use all of this and all of this. And then you want to make sure you get the car back on before the end here. If you do that, you'll be sweet. And obviously, watch the positioning of the car. You don't want to be too far out the back of the curb because then you will get an off track as well. So you got to sort of have 2 tyres running on the curb. Your right tyre's just on the curb or just inside the curb, but you can use quite a bit of track there, so you can use the width quite a lot. As you come down here, braking at the start of the curb here. Now, this one's a little bit different, and I run it different to a lot of guys. A lot of guys sort of stay out wide and then sort of hug the curb the whole way around, where I sort of attack it like a double apex. So as I come in, 4th gear, back to 2nd gear, I diagonal the car at the first apex, right? And I want to hit it just as that reflector that you can see just in the corner there on shot. As soon as I get to that reflector, I want to clip the curb, right? So I clip it right there. Then I let the car track out. And I don't let it track out wide. I mean like a car width, maybe a car width and a half to this point here. Oh, that's probably a little bit wide because I was looking at somebody else. Hang on. So probably to about this point here, right? And then I'm sort of in line with the sign, the billboard on its side, and just past the flag marshal hut. So I sort of look in between them. And then at that point now, I turn the car back at the corner. You'll see that there's another reflector here. That's another good point. Is when you can see that in your straight in front of you, then you start to really clip that curb. The car's going to walk off the curb and run a little bit wide. Now, up to 3rd gear. And this one's another tricky one, especially, I know ourselves personally this week have had a lot of problems trying to get the car to be balanced through here. So it's a corner that looks quite easy on paper, but it also can bite you quite quickly as well. So what you want to do is, as you come into the corner, you're going to be 4th gear because you're going to come out, down, and then you're aiming for the start of the catch fence just here on the right hand side as your turning point. Back to 3rd gear as you turn the car in. So turn the car in nice and early. Get 2 tyres just to clip the curb 3/4 of the way through. So right about this point here, right? So that's where I find I'm most comfortable to then drive the car straight out of the corner. Drive the car out. The car's going to run wide. Use all of this curb. Get the car back on. Run it down the hill. Now we're going into Pua, which is probably one of the hardest corners. 5th gear as you're coming down here. I'm braking just before the traffic light. So the traffic light is right there. So I would be braking about this point here. So 5th back to 4th. Now, I find personally, stay off the curb on the outside. I've seen a lot of guys grab it and it's flicked the car around as soon as they turn in. So I personally try to stay as far away from the curb as possible. Obviously, you want to be on the right-hand side of the road, but I don't want to hit that curb. So back to 4th gear, and then I turn in just before the end of the curb. So the curb starts here. See how there's a little green bit behind that is just back from the curb a little bit? That's where I start to turn the car at the corner. So 4th gear, turn the car at the corner, clip the apex sort of in line with the little white building, then let the car track out wide. Once the car's tracked out wide, the car's going to set about this point here. Sometimes you'll go a little bit further. It really just depends on how you've trailed the brake into the corner, and how much momentum you're carrying will depend on where the car places. Sometimes you'll be a little bit narrower. Sometimes you'll be a bit wider. It does Obviously, the more corner speed is better, but I find sort of like I don't really like being on that curb or near that curb, so I try to be sort of more middle or 3/4 of the track. And then from that point there, I'm on the throttle the whole way through. The car gets a little bit understeery here, but you can stay in it and it will continue to rotate. Car's going to come off of the corner, on the curb, and then you're going to be 5th gear as you head under the bridge, under the sign. And you want to brake just past it at the start of the curb. Back to 3rd gear here. Same again here. Turn in once that green bit of concrete starts behind the curb. Turn the car at the corner. Use 2 tyres up on the curb. Let the car rotate round. Same again here. Not completely sacrificing, but just a little sacrifice. You want to set yourself up a little bit more to the right than the left. You don't want to be too far out over there. So sort of this angle here. And then from this point here, I turn the car back at the curb. Get 2 tyres up on it. Rotate the car around. The car's going to drop off. I aim for the end of the tyre wall just here. The car's going to slide all the way out here. You can hold 3rd or go 4th and then back to 3rd. You want to brake at the start of the curb on the left-hand side. Rotate the car in at the end of the curb. I use quite a bit of curb here to help the car turn. Once I get the car to rotate, the car's going to drop off. Use all the escape curb here. Then at the end of the curb, turn in. 4th gear. Clip the curb at the end. Let the car track right out to the edge of the road. Run it up through all the gears. Up to 6th gear. I stay to the right here. Turn in, get close to the left lane, white line on the left. Let the car track back out to the right. And then turn in just before the green stuff. 6th gear. It's a tiny lift to get the car to rotate, but then you should be flat. Use all the escape curb, head towards the Bridgestone sign. Just past the white line on the circuit. Nice big brake pressure. Diagonal the car in towards the traffic light. Back to 2nd gear. And then you want to turn the car in right here. So you'll see, if I just go forward a little tiny bit, you'll see it. So you'll see the 2 little like metal grate holes in the fence. That's what I use as my turn-in marker. So from that point there, turn the car in at the corner. Get the car up on the curb. Sacrifice a little bit of corner. So I sort of line up with the end of, you see the pit entrance and you've got all the arrows. I sort of line up with the end of that to sort of put myself in the middle. Once I get to that white line, I lift, turn the car at the corner. Get 2 tyres right up on the curb. The car's going to rotate, aim for the DRS sign, straighten the car as quickly as possible, and drive the car flat, straight to the end, up to the start-finish line. And there you go, guys. That is your lap of Spa in the Mercedes-AMG for the GT3 Fixed Fanatec Challenge Series. I hope this track guide's helped you. Good luck for your week of racing. Good luck for the Spa 24 hours if you guys are in it. And we will see you next time. Thanks, guys.